This is Ryan Abraham and Shotgun Spratling, USCFootball.com. Instant analysis. We're no grass here. We're actually on a court here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We both came out here for the Hall of Fame series. 4 different basketball games played today. The Pac-12 won 4-0, and USC actually played twice. The USC women defeat the number 21 USC women defeat the number 7 Ohio State Buckeyes. And then in the nightcap, you saw Kansas State come in here, and USC, did a pretty good job beating them. Was it by 11? Was it 13 at the end? Beating Kansas State. So you had the number 1 recruits for each team in the country playing for this team. So it was kind of an interesting one. But we can start with the women this morning. JuJu Watkins looked like the best player in the arena when she was playing. So I mean, maybe a little different in the late one, but when JuJu was out there, she looked like the best thing to me.
Yeah, definitely. She was outstanding. She put up 32 points in her debut. Most, as far as we know, in a debut for a USC women's player. And you think of some of the names that have come with Lisa Leslie's and Cheryl Miller's and, all the greats that have come through USC. Lisa Leslie had scored 30 in an upset of number 7, Texas. Was the last time that USC women have actually have beaten a ranked team in their season opener. Now, they don't play one every single year, obviously, but a long time ago. So JuJu Watkins against, again, the number 7 team helps them upset. And USC, it was an interesting game because pretty close in the first quarter. USC dominates the second quarter. Ohio State dominates the third quarter and gets right back in it. And, USC had a big lead, and suddenly it's gone. But part of that was JuJu Watkins was on the bench because she had foul trouble. She comes in with 4 fouls in the fourth quarter, and they're able to pull away a little bit early. They go on a quick run, and then Ohio State was never able to catch up. She's a difference maker, obviously. She was the best player on the court the entire game, despite there being potential All-Americans on both teams. It did not matter. She was the best player out there. She just does so much so fluidly at her size. At 6'2", with the ball in her hands, she's just smooth with everything she does. She can shoot over people, go by people, the behind-the-back dribbles, the between the legs, all the stuff that sometimes there's a little bit of extra movement with, players a little bit lower caliber. She does everything super smooth, and she was fantastic. It was fun to watch her in her debut and just made it look easy. Yeah,
Lindsey Gottlieb gets a big win here against the top 10 team. That really kind of bad third quarter, one of the worst you've kind of seen. So some bad things, but you can learn from that. You get a win, but you also get to learn from it. Obviously, JuJu getting 32 points. I was a freshman, or I think it was a sophomore when Lisa Leslie debuted, and she got her 30 there. But looking to the men, Isaiah Collier, the number 1 recruit on the men's side, he comes in there. Not as many points, but he looked really good. Foul trouble too, ends up fouling out, but very efficient shooting night for him. And Andy Enfield just had a lot of really nice things to say about him.
Yeah, he was actually close to the pace for JuJu. He had 15 in the first half on, I believe it was 6 of 8 shooting in the first half. Only had 1 shot in the second half. And he made that a three-pointer, his first one. Step back three-pointer, showing that's supposed to be the weakness of his game, the outside shooting. But he showed a little bit of everything. Showed the physicality. He's just when he gets downhill on a defender, it's night for anyone that's guarding him. A big has to come over and help out because he's just too strong, too big. And you saw him absorbing contact and still finishing. Sometimes getting knocked to the ground himself. I have a photo of him with his foot is up in the air and he's still shooting the ball and putting it up with his left hand and makes the basket. He was outstanding when he was attacking the rim. And then you had Boogie Ellis pitching in with him. And that was the thing, he doesn't have to do it all. And that's the same thing on the women's side. JuJu Watkins is outstanding, is going to be incredible for him. But they have 3 grad transfers from Ivy Leagues that are going to just do all the fundamental things that they need them to do. And then they have Rhea Marshall, who had an 18-point, 17 rebound, double-double, I believe it was, or 17 and 16. Big numbers, starting her All-American campaign at the same time. So those 2 complement each other really well, pick and roll, different things. And then Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier complement each other really well. They take care of the offensive side. On the defensive side, Kobe Johnson had 4 steals. Joshua Morgan had at least 4 blocks. So, if they can lock down and anchor the defensive side, Isaiah Collier and Boogie Ellis on the offensive side, you say, what's the potential of this team? There's definitely a lot of work that has to be done for both of these teams, but you get a glimpse in the opener and say, this could be a fun year for USC basketball on both sides.
For sure. Kansas State's an Elite 8 team from last year. So, yeah, big win for Andy Enfield and his career, getting a win here. against Kansas State early on. We talked about the women's side. They had the really bad third quarter, but otherwise played pretty well. For the men, it was really the rebounding, especially the offensive rebounds. Andy Anfield talked about Kansas State missed a lot of shots, but so you're going to get a high percent. There's going to be some shots that they get back, but man, there was a lot of them. And USC did a good job on defense, but man, just too many balls that they had their hands on and weren't able to corral.
Yeah, and this has been an issue in the past, and it's something that has to be fixed if they want to go to the promised land. If they want to make a deep run, this is something that can get them beat, because not every team is going to shoot poorly. Now, they play really good defense, but occasionally you run into someone who's just hot. Can you stay in that game if the shots they do miss, they're still getting another chance on? That's what killed them against Arizona a couple times last year. That's something that has to be cleaned up, and that's going to be on the bigs. I mean, Joshua Morgan, did a really good job on defense, but you mentioned it over and over. You were very frustrated watching them that a lot of times USC's, especially their front court players, but just USC's players in general, had their hands on the ball but couldn't corral it and bring it in. Ball would bounce away, they got dominated on the boards in the first half. In the second half, did a better job. Still gave up 7 offensive boards, but they won the rebounding battle in the second half. So that was a positive, that they showed a little toughness in the second half, and they probably were challenged at halftime to come out and do it. I thought Arrington Page, the freshman, he's still huffing and puffing a little bit. You could see him. He had, I think, played 14 minutes. He's coming off a mono, missing 3 weeks. He's only been back for about 2.5 weeks, a week and a half, somewhere in there. So he's still getting his sea legs back, as you may say. But he really made an impact in those minutes that he had. He was able to get his hands on some balls, rebounded, diving on the court, almost one of his first possessions out there. So if he can make an impact, that gives you, again, you feel optimistic about what this team can be going forward with him. Because Johnny Wright didn't play very much. He's another guy they need to get in there to rebound the ball as well. Harrison Hornery got some rebounds. So those bigs got to play a little bit better and get some more rebounds. But that's something that can be cleaned up going forward.
My frustration felt vindicated when Andy Anfield brought it up himself, saying we got our hands on a lot of balls and we're never do it. We also got kind of an update on Bronny James. His mom, had some family members here in attendance, and Andy Anfield seemed very supportive of that, had some glowing things to say about him as a teammate, but no Bronny James in the game. But what's the latest update with him?
Yeah, there were some reports that came out the last couple of days about Bronny James is not going to suit up for the opener. He's not close, guys. He's not close. He's doing some stationary shooting drills and dribbling drills. That's it right now. Not doing the cardio stuff yet, so that's going to take – and this is where Vincey Wachukwu was kind of at last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's on a similar timeline as Vincey Wachukwu, who came back in the middle of January. So don't get your hopes up to see him in the next couple games. Now, still buy your tickets and come out to Galen Center and watch this team. They're really fun, and you can see Bronny. But what stands out to me about Bronny, I don't expect him back anytime really quickly. He was with the team warming up, not doing warm-ups, but with the team while they warmed up. I don't think he sat down during the game. If he did, it wasn't until the second half, because he's that invested. He's that good of a teammate, and that's what you hear from all his teammates, from Andy Enfield. Is like, and Enfield was asked about the situation, like, are you happy the season's finally started? You stop getting those questions. He's like, he's not a distraction. The players are, kind of used to that extra hype and stuff around them, especially when you got Isaiah Collier, especially when you got Dennis Rodman on the team as well. And even more important than Dennis Rodman, you had Trinity Rodman, the U.S. women's national team, and she was here with her mom courtside as well. You had Shaq and his son here for the LSU game. A lot of celebrities, and Storm Reed was here again, USC. So there was a lot of people around for this one, some basketball Hall of Famers and whatnot. But for LeBron, and he was answering some questions, I believe, after his game. But Savannah, his wife, Bronny's mom, was here to check it out. So that just shows the family support and how much they're invested as well in the USC basketball, because they could just be like, we're not going to show up, we know he's not playing, type of thing. And to see Bronny so invested on the bench tells you the kind of kid he is and the type of family that they are. So you're excited for the potential of when he's able to come back, but don't expect it anytime soon.
Every time I'm here is usually for Pac-12, the basketball tournament. We saw George Kliavkoff here. We never see him.
Celebrity sighting.
Yeah, I don't know about the celebrity, but yeah, I got my Pac-12 on. But the Pac-12 did very well today. 4 wins, including a win over the Elite 8 team in USC beating Kansas State, and then Colorado beating the defending national champion LSU.
Yeah, you had 2 Elite 8 wins for USC because Ohio State also won the Elite 8 last year. And then Colorado just drubbed the LSU women, who are absolutely loaded. The preseason #1, brought in extra transfers to add to what they have. Now, they're a team that's got to figure some things out, but Colorado looked really good. So the women's basketball Pac-12 race is going to be exciting again this season as well. And so the Pac-12 had a monster day going in, because there were very few, this is opening day for men and women's basketball, very few Power 5 matchups in the men's side, very few ranked matchups on the women's side, and we had 4 of them here today, and the Pac-12 comes out with 4 wins, so great start to the season for the Pac-12.
Yeah, Oregon ends up beating 2-time national champion Georgia. Okay, maybe that was the football side, but they beat the basketball team here earlier there. Any kind of final thoughts here from T-Mobile?
No, just a great day overall for the USC basketball programs. Boogie Ellis took control at the end, because Kansas State did whittle it down, especially after Isaiah Collier fouled out with about 4 minutes to go. It was a 19-point lead. They got it down to 8. Thinking, is this going to be danger zone? USC's had these struggles in the past. Boogie Ellis took over, and that's what you want to see from your leader, your returning leading scorer, your veteran on the team. So I thought that was great to see. And then Kobe Johnson also with the defense. Those two combined to kind of shut down the game when Kansas State was trying to make a run there late and make something special happen. They said, no, we ain't having that. And Boogie made a ridiculously hard shot. And then immediately after that, Kobe gets a steal and a dunk, and it was like, okay, that's it. Game's over.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up from here. I know it's USCfootball.com, but you want to check out USC basketball. Both teams have electric freshmen, really good squads. They got some really good wins right here to start the season. It's the kickoff of college basketball, even though we got some football left. But it's good to be out here again. See, I'm not a jinx. I saw USC win twice today. So for Shotgun Spratling, I'm Ryan Abraham. Make sure you check out USCfootball.com for more.